Mm. um. Mm. Mm. Just like, oh man, I forgot about that. I wonder if I could find it. No. Mm. Damn, I don't know where it is. Mm. Eleanor. Bad cats. mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Nah, it was good knowing you. Cat on legs means you're not allowed to move ever. pretty annoying when people are blasting their music that freaking loud. That happens a lot around here. Hmm. Well, at least it's different. Hmm. Dead. Mm. Hmm. Mm. Posture check. Ah, God. Mm. Die on command. Sorry, that's a really funny way to put it. Hmm. That's okay. Please never feel like you have to catch every stream. Damn it. Come Festival slots. Put all these in here. Oh, glad I can provide that for you. Freaking blinded myself. Okay. It's good you have one cool ops. Oh, dang. I hope everything went well and her and the baby are okay. Yeah, I was working on that dark canvas and went back to this light one. Painful. Good for her. Sounds like she knows what her limit is. Oh, yeah, that could be dangerous. She tries to have more kids. Mm. That's good. It's good he's being supportive, because I remember you said something about some sort of like societal pressure for people to have as many kids as possible. I guess she should prioritize her ability to take care of the 2 kids she already has. No, it's good she's got support there. Well, that's good. Mm-mm. Oh. Nice, got one of each. Jeez, there's so many kids. Sounds like a nightmare situation to me. Oh no. Still, I gotta take a hell of a toll on someone's body. It's like, can you two calm down? Yeah, wherever they live, it's gotta be crowded. It sounds so expensive having so many people to take care of. And like crowded and dramatic and busy. Not big intergenerational families and stuff, huh? Too tall for the doors, dang. Nice, nice. I feel like Cheska's too, like, time and schedule conscious to sit down and finish all the quests in a Fallout game in one sitting. But he'd probably be able to schedule it down to, like, I'm gonna finish 5 quests today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta admit, some tiny part of my brain would be like, is it rude to think that they would have a frickin' killer Fallout cosplay? Yeah, like, I know they have a serious injury, and they're probably pretty self-conscious about that. However, I think the ghouls are cool as hell. A second, I gotta do some, like, neck stretches. Having a really weird neck pain that I might contact my primary about, because I don't know what's up with it. But for now, I'm just trying to do gentle stretches. I just being like, I can do it at the game all the time. The animation looks so simple. I'm sure I can learn it. I have broken both of my ankles. Mm-hmm. There are multiple Alaskas. I only know the one. With your dad being a hypocrite and being like, I'm taking your phone so you go to bed early, and then he does the exact thing he told you not to do. Just accidentally broke the TV. Heck, the volume's messed up. Oh. Man. Be like, it sounds fine to me. And he's like, what? You're like, it sounds fine to me. try to get everyone to go along with it. Like, everyone talk really quiet. Tell them that the volume sounds good to you. It's even a little loud. So I'll just make him believe he's going deaf. All the way deaf. He's already half deaf. Uh-uh. What? Unless I gotta play it to see. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm. Classic. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, right. I forgot to turn the audio back on.
That's a fixed fight if I ever saw one. I don't know, say now.
Mm-mm.
Horse racing. Oh, sunny California. Oh, yes. Dance music. Well, that's good enough for me. Now to take this set home to the little wife.
Mm-mm-mm. Is it gonna pop up right where he puts the TV again?
Anniversary, dear.
Oh, George, it's beautiful. That's what I've always wanted. A television set.
Well, you see these swell programs. Saw him today. You'll like this guy. He's crazy.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Right. It reminds me of like something I was watching a while ago. It was like an old variety show. And I was like, wow, people in the past were all on cocaine or something probably because they just did everything so fast. All the dancing, all the acrobatics and stuff, it's just like really fast. That's nice. To look at references of those. You okay, Firefox? Mm. Gotta skedaddle to escape the wrath of the father. Firefox has some trouble sometimes. Right. Literally, what am I thinking of? The right. Yeah, this nonsense. I love these. Okay, that's more in the range of what I'm looking for. Mm. Gross. I sure hope not. I guess so. I mean, if you want to listen to something in the background, you can always listen on your end, or I can put music on or something. Or if you just want to listen to it with me, then I can also put it on. Okay. I'm mostly going to be thinking about fancy three-piece suits. If I put that on, I'm gonna want to grab this for reference.
Nintendo has been trying to solve the exact same
Nintendo.
problem for the last 30-odd years. How do you design the difficulty of a Mario game? Because here's the thing, Mario means different things to different
Mario.
people. On the one hand, he's a cultural icon, a Hollywood superstar, a
Swear I'm
pudgy
not making
color
fun of this
mascot
guy, like how he
kids.
talks, and so
his
I just have
games
to try
must
to
be
replicate it.
approachable to absolutely everyone, even to someone who has never played a video game before. But on the other hand, Mario has gathered a
Mario.
rabid fan base of gamers who have been playing his adventures
I'm
since
making fun of him a little bit.
1985, and now have expert muscle memory skills for triple jumps, ground pounds, and infinite one-up shenanigans. And so they expect Mario's games to keep pace with
Mario.
their advanced skill set. How on earth do you make a game that's suitable for both of these players and everyone in between? No matter how hard you try, says Mario's creator Shigeru Miyamoto, it's just not possible to settle on a difficulty level that will satisfy everyone. Now, in another genre, this might be fixed with a difficulty select screen. You know, do you want to play on easy, medium, or hard? But these features are usually created by tweaking some numbers, like the amount of health you have, the damage you do with each attack, or the number of enemies that spawn. But in a meticulously handcrafted platformer with extremely distinct interactions between enemies and the player, well, that stuff just wouldn't fly. Which is why, in more than 30 mainline Super Mario games, only one has anything even resembling an explicit easy mode. And besides, that's just not really Nintendo's way. Miyamoto says one way is to add an easy mode, but I think the best method is when the player can adjust the difficulty themselves while playing. How does that work? Well, that's what I wanted to find out. In order to do this, I played through a bunch of different Mario games. I mean, I'm talking a lot of Mario games. I mean, every single mainline entry in the Super Mario Brothers
Jesus.
series. Let's put Super Mario.
The height on this guy's hair.
top, just for good measure.
Voluminous.
Stay there. All of this in order to figure out how Nintendo designed Super Mario's invisible difficulty setting. So, for the 200th time, I'm Mark Brown.
Yeah, it sounds kind of scary, actually.
Game Maker's Toolkit.
Oh
Series
god, they're
on
both so
video games.
British.
Okay, so I think the best metaphor for Mario's difficulty design is to think of three pipes placed
Yeah,
on top of
accent-wise,
each
they're both very
The
British,
central
but in
pipe
slightly different
represents
ways.
the path you must take to finish the game, to go from A to B. In a level, that's from the starting line to the goal pole, and in terms of the game itself, it's from the opening cutscene to the final showdown with Bowser. This is the critical path, and it's designed to be a pretty average level of difficulty. But then there are the other two pipes. In the lower pipe, the game is easier and more forgiving for new players, and in the pipe up above, the game is harder and designed to test the skills of expert players. And then within the game's design, there are ways to shift between these three pipes. If the game is proving too difficult, you can accept some help and drop into the bottom pipe and have an easier time. But if the game is a little too easy, you can rise up to the top pipe and take on the game's more challenging content. Now, this is an idea that Nintendo has used in, well, just about every Mario game, from World to Wonder and from Galaxy to Odyssey. But the exact ways that players can move between the pipes has changed a lot throughout the years. We've seen these methods evolve and change as Mario has bounced between different systems, eras, game directors, and meta-level structures. So let's look at them all by breaking them down into different
Tiles.
categories. I'll start by looking at the top pipe, with the stuff that allows the player to make the game more difficult. And that starts in the levels themselves, with one-off rewards that encourage you to take risks. Take this block in the first underground level of Super Mario Bros. When Mario bops it with his
Mario.
box, a one-up mushroom appears and starts to saunter across the ceiling. If you want it, then you'll need to speed up, manically dash through the next group of enemies, and make a daring leap to grab the extra life before it disappears into the void. Mario levels are absolutely filled with this stuff, whether that's runaway power-ups, those coloured coins that disappear after a few seconds, or the final tricky leap to the top of the flagpole. These are all entirely optional, meaning that if you're not confident, then you can ignore them entirely, but if you're feeling skillful, then you can push your luck and get a reward for it. This
That's a good
is
idea.
never more obvious
Just
than
builds
with the
the-
star coins, which were formally
builds more
introduced
difficult
in
stuff
New
into
Super
the
Mario
layer-
Brothers
the
on
level.
DS. Every level has 3 special coins which require extra skill or even more advanced moves. A Nintendo designer said, all of the courses can be cleared without dashing or wall jumping, but you can't get star coins without doing those things or making use of special items. These star coins have become a recurring motif and now show up in just about every Mario game, perhaps in a slightly different guise, like the green stars and Miiverse stamps in 3D World or the Comet medals in Galaxy 2. Again, these things are entirely optional, and in many games, you can finish the game without picking up a single one. But to an advanced player, they transform an easy level into a challenging obstacle course, where you have to risk life and limb to walk away with all 3 coins.
That's
Another
cool.
idea is to reward the player if they can finish a course under specific criteria. Yoshi's Island is one of the easiest Mario games, thanks to a very generous regenerating health system that lets you take, well, infinite hits. So it's entirely possible to limp through a level in the most ungainly way imaginable. But the game will score your performance at the end of the stage, and one of the criteria is how much life you have left when you cross the finish line. So if you want to max out the scorecard, you'll need to finish the level with almost perfect performance. Score has always been part of the Mario games, of course, a weird relic.
Yeah, I like that, 'cause you can still get through the level,
But Super Mario
but
Bros. Deluxe gives each level a
you can do a
par
little
score to
bit
hit as an
extra.
optional challenge, which is a more concrete
As,
goal
like,
than
if you
simply
want to
get
take
a
on
lot
the
of
challenge.
points or beat your friends. And in Super Mario Maker's 3DS port, every level comes with 2 medals which add special conditions to the stage, like finishing it while holding on to a certain power-up, or speedrunning through the level under a super strict time limit. These are actually a lot of fun. I'd like
Yeah,
to see them come
optional
back in
challenge is a
future
really good
games.
idea.
So those are ways to place optional challenges within the levels themselves. But what if we zoom out and think of the game as a whole? In Super Mario Odyssey, you can finish the game after collecting 124 Power Moons. This unlocks the climactic final battle with Bowser on the moon, which wraps up the story. Roll credits, the game is over. Except, of course, it's not. Doing this unlocks access to new moons, which are now scattered throughout the game, and tricky additional post-game levels that will put everything you've learned to the test. Basically, the most difficult content in Mario Odyssey doesn't even exist until after you finish the game. So if we think about the game's difficulty curve, Nintendo could have forced players to reach the very end before offering closure, but instead they stopped the story long before the curve hits its peak. This means that pretty much everyone can see the game through to the end and wrap up whatever little storyline there is in this game, but those wanting more challenge can keep on playing. This is a common refrain in the Mario series. Heck, the very first Super Mario Bros. Ended with an invitation to start a new quest, which is like a B-side remix of the entire game with harder enemies and level layouts. Plus, if you find all 120 stars in Mario Galaxy, you're rewarded with the chance to do it all again as Luigi. Finishing Super Mario 3D World unlocks 3 more worlds filled with difficult courses, and the infamous Champion's Road. And all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games have bonus worlds with more difficult courses hidden after the credits roll. Of course, this does mean that expert players have to go through an entire game's worth of pretty easy content to finally get to the challenging stuff. So other games don't make you wait until the very end to access.
I really
these
don't like the
bonus
use of the
harder
word
levels.
content to
In
mean like
Super Mario
everything.
World, certain levels have secret
Just say
exits that
gameplay.
open hidden pathways on the map, some of which go to a mysterious place called Star
Instead of
Road.
content,
Finds a
say
bunch of
art,
bonus
music,
levels that will
videos,
test your
writing.
metal. There's even a secret world within
Unless
the
you're talking
secret
about
world, a
fiber,
special zone filled
like
with
what type
bizarre
of
green
fibers
logic
are in a
levels with
fabric.
the most 90s names imaginable.
Yeah, like the
Tubular,
fiber content
Groovy,
of something, or like
Way
the
Cool. Other
I don't know,
examples include
DNA
the challenge
content of
mode
your
in
freaking
New
dog's
Super Mario
DNA
Bros. U,
profile or
which is
something like
unlocked
that.
gradually
Just
as you play the
don't use the
game.
word
And the
content.
odd
I don't like it.
extra difficult courses that are peppered throughout Mario Wonder's campaign. But how about we go one further and make the entire game be designed just for those who are experts at the previous game? Shortly after the release of the original Super Mario Bros., the designers put together a sequel that was full of extra challenging stages, with nonsense jumps, BS enemy placements, absurd wind physics, poisonous mushrooms, and warp pipes that can send you backwards to earlier worlds. The entire game is a nightmare joke for Mario experts, so much so that it was hard to market it properly. Miyamoto has said, "We were certain that this was a lot of fun for those who played Super Mario Bros. Immensely, but we thought it would be hard for first-time players. So we put a sticker on the package that said, 'For super players.' That wasn't enough for Nintendo of America, who refused to localize the game, which is why we got a completely different Super Mario Bros. 2 outside of Japan. Anyway, this idea makes a lot more sense in the age of downloadable content. So if the old eShops
Fucking
that existed,
games
then you could grab
DLCs,
some
like as
stupidly
downloadable
hard
content
levels
is still like,
from
you know,
Super Mario Bros. 2. Or even better,
that's still like a
the
thing,
excellent
DLC,
new Super Luigi
but like
U
still.
expansion pack, which is designed for platforming experts thanks to its tricky stage layouts and super short time limits. So these are all ways that Nintendo
The
can make
lost
Mario
levels.
games more challenging. Risky one-off rewards, optional star coins, challenging bonus criteria, post-game content, bonus levels, and expert-level DLC. But what about the opposite? What can Nintendo do if the central pipe is proving too difficult and players need a helping hand? Well, one very effective solution is to simply let players choose which courses they take on. Super Mario 64 features 120 power stars littered throughout a number of difficult levels, but you actually only need 70 of them to finish the game. This means that outside of a few mandatory stages, the player is able to pick and choose the levels they feel comfortable playing, and skip others entirely. And because you can access multiple levels simultaneously, you can put off a tricky level for the time being and come back to it later. This has become a common structure in Mario's 3D outings. You never need all of the stars, shines, or moons to finish these games, and so you get to decide which levels you want to play and the order you want to play them in. But we also see the option to skip levels in some 2D games, whether that's using the warp zones in Super Mario Bros. To skip past tricky worlds, using the map screen in Super Mario Bros. 3 to bypass courses, or using the job list in Super Mario Maker 2 to pick out the levels with the lowest difficulty ratings. Another solution is to change the layout of the levels themselves. In Super Mario World, there are these switch block palaces. Hit the
Sucks
big
that your
yellow
knees that
button
messed up.
and it will populate the world with new blocks that fill in tricky gaps or provide useful power-ups. This makes levels much easier to play, which is
Also, that's a bit
like
concerning
activating
that it's still
an
hurting
easy
by now.
mode. Though because you can't undo the action, this doesn't really let
Hope
you
you didn't
move
get
back
like
and forth
a
between
torn
the pipes.
meniscus or
Press
something.
the button and you're now stuck in the lower pipe for the rest of the game. Luckily, this idea would be revisited more effectively
Gotta
in
eat a
Super
cookie.
Mario Wonder, with a badge that makes some extra blocks appear, but only as long as you're wearing the badge. Take it off, and the game goes back to normal. Nintendo can also change the difficulty by letting you switch to a different character. In the Western version of Super Mario Bros. 2, Princess Toadstool is arguably the easiest character to control thanks to her floaty jump that makes it less challenging to land on small platforms. Same goes for her appearance as Peach in Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
This is taken even
I still hope
further
you didn't get a
in
torn
New
meniscus
Super
or
Mario
something.
Bros. U Deluxe, where Toadette and Nabbit are dedicated as easier characters to play as, thanks to tighter physics, faster movement
He should
in
be an
water,
adventurer
and
like you,
in Nabbit's
until I
case,
took some
the
icy
dude
pavement to
doesn't
the
even
knee.
take damage from enemies. Changing the difficulty is as easy as changing character. In New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Nintendo wanted to do something for players who kept dying over and over again on the same level. These players are obviously getting stuck and probably quite frustrated. So, how can they be helped? The solution is the Super Guide. Activate this box and Luigi will show you how to finish the level, notably without getting secrets or star coins. When he's done, you can either take the L and skip the level, or use what you just saw to try the level again for yourself. This feature would appear again in New Super Mario Bros. U and in certain parts of Mario Galaxy 2 as the slightly unsettling Cosmic Spirit. You could perhaps put the assist mode for Mario Odyssey in this category too, as one of the primary features of this system is to show you exactly where to go using these handy blue arrows. A slightly different version of this system appeared in Super Mario 3D Land. You'll still get an optional box if you fail a certain number of times, but in this game it provides a power-up, an invincible Tanuki suit, which lets you float forever and smash through enemies and obstacles. If that's not enough, then dying 10 times lets you skip the level altogether. The invincible Tanuki suit is actually a callback to a power-up in Super Mario Bros. 3. Finishing a castle can sometimes net you a P-Wing for your inventory, which can be used to give you infinite flight and soar over an entire level like you've activated a broken Game Genie code. A similar assist system appears in New Super Mario Bros. 2, and there's a clever twist on the idea in Super Mario Maker 2's Story Mode, where you can open a toolbox of items and blocks to paint into the level as you see fit. And finally, if you're stuck in a game, sometimes the best solution is to ask a friend to jump in and just do it for you. But what if they could actually play alongside you and help out? That was the idea behind Super Mario Galaxy's Co-Star mode, where a second Wii remote can be used to collect and shoot star bits. In Galaxy 2, the second player can even kill enemies. There's also a particularly clever version of this in New Super Mario Bros. U, where a second player can plop temporary blocks into the world by tapping on the Wii U gamepad. And, of course, the multiplayer modes in various Mario platformers let an advanced player help out their less skilled friends as they chill out in a bubble. So if Nintendo wants to help out novice players, they can let players choose which levels they take on, change the stage layout to be more forgiving, introduce other characters who are easier to play as, help out players who repeatedly die with a guide, a power-up, or a level skip, or allow players to get a friend to jump in and help out. So, as we can see, simply getting through a Mario level, or an entire Mario game, is supposed to be of a pretty standard level of difficulty. It might change from title to title, some are slightly easier, others are a little tougher, but on the whole, this should be suitable for an average player. But as you play, there are all sorts of ways to change that difficulty level. Intimidating trials like enticing extra pickups, super hard bonus levels, and tricky optional conditions are there for those who demand a greater level of challenge. Whereas generous assists like invincible player characters, co-op modes, and skippable stages are there to help out players who find the baseline difficulty too hard. And so, ultimately, Mario games do have difficulty modes, because we can think of these three pipes as easy, normal, and hard. But they're very different to a more traditional difficulty setting. There, these pipes are separate and siloed. A player is sorted into one of the three at the very start of the game, and typically stays in it for the duration of the adventure. But in a Mario game, the pipes are all connected, and so the player seamlessly shifts between them as they play, perhaps accepting help when they become frustrated, but then pushing themselves to take on more challenges as they become more confident. And so instead of asking the player to predict their level of skill before the game even begins, Mario games let players opt in and out of challenges midway through the game, or even midway through a level. At every step of the journey, players get to ask themselves, can I do this? And Nintendo wants them to say yes. Because even though Nintendo adds in all of these features to help out beginner players, it still understands the value of difficulty. In an interview about Star Fox Zero, Miyamoto said, "Part of the fun of taking on a challenge is that the challenge has to be a hurdle that you overcome. Simply lowering the hurdle doesn't necessarily mean that the challenge will be fun. What's fun is you mastering the skill and having that sense of accomplishment, of achieving something that's difficult." So part of this three-pipe design is making sure that players are always encouraged to move up, to stop using assists, and to try taking on harder challenges. And this is done in a number of ways. For one, assists are usually a one-off temporary help, a thing that helps you get through that one specific level, but then it goes away and you have to do the next one yourself. Also, using assists usually means that you don't get a true reward. In Mario Galaxy 2, using the Cosmic Spirit nets you a bronze star instead of a proper power star. You'll need to come back to get the real deal. In Super Mario Bros. 2, you won't unlock World 9 if you got to the ending by using warp zones, and playing on easier mode in Super Mario Run means your purple coins aren't saved. Plus, Nintendo often hides the assists altogether until players truly need them. On New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the developers spent a long time deciding on exactly how many times you have to die before the Super Guide shows up. Late Nintendo president Satoru Iwata says it's fine if it appears when you're on the verge of tears, but not if it pops up when you're still brimming with determination to do it. Getting that timing right is extremely important. Nintendo also encourages players to tackle greater challenges by letting them proudly display their achievements. Ever since Super Mario Bros. 2, the games have used shining stars and medals on the file select screen to let players show off that they finished the game's hardest challenges. Further still, in some games, if you ever use those assists, then the stars on the file select screen will no longer shine.
Save
It's a way to
progress
stop
check.
expert players from giving in to the temptation to use an assist. And
That got cold here
finally,
very
Nintendo
suddenly.
makes sure that being skillful
I'm just kind of
doesn't
warming my hands on the bottom of my
inadvertently
laptop.
make the game easier. What I mean by that is, in early Mario games, completing optional challenges would net you useful rewards. In Super Mario World, finding all 5 dragon coins gives you a 1-up. And in New Super Mario Bros., the star coins let you unlock toad houses with 1-ups and power-ups. This means that showing skill and proving that you're an expert player rewards you with stuff that actually reduces the difficulty level. It's a nasty negative feedback loop that inadvertently pushes you out of the top pipe. In more recent games then, those expert level challenges are instead used to unlock even more difficult stages. They
Nice,
reward
yeah.
skilled players with even more
Yeah, that's what you
chances
gotta
to
do.
show their skill.
You gotta give the
All
skilled
of this
players
means
challenges.
that players are put off from using the assists and encouraged to seek out ever greater challenges. But then again, players don't actually need all that much encouragement to make a game harder, provided it's fun, of course. Just look at how players create self-imposed challenges like speedrunning, no coin collection, or the Mario nipple percent run. It's good to track the player's achievements to provide a sense of progression, but players will often surprise you in how they find ways to wring out more difficulty from a game. So let's finish by looking at how all of this comes together in Mario's latest game, the wonderful Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Things start with the character select screen. Mario, Daisy, Toad, and so on all play the same, but Nabbit and Yoshi are cordoned off as easy mode characters who can't take damage from enemies. However, you can switch character at any time from the menu, and you may be enticed to do so when you learn that these easier characters can't make use of the game's fun new power-ups. There's no Elephant Nabbit, for instance. You can also change the difficulty by using the game's new badge system. Some make the game easier, like one saves you from falling into pits, another gives you a mushroom at the start of every level. But other badges make the game more difficult, letting advanced players take on self-inflicted challenges like going invisible or forcing Mario to continuously hop. You can only wear one at a time, and you're encouraged to change your current badge whenever you die. The game's structure is designed to let players pick and choose the levels that they want to play. To finish a world, you'll need to own a certain number of Wonder Seeds. In Pipe Rock Plateau, you'll need 14 of them to tackle the end boss. But between the levels, secret exits, and even the shop, there are more than 30 of them in this hub, meaning you can skip some stages entirely if you choose. This also allows Nintendo to drop in a few harder stages that advanced players can enjoy and beginner players can ignore. Nintendo game designer Koichi Hayashida says, up until now, 2D Mario games have been in a format where players complete each course in sequence. But in this title, players who want a challenge can start with a difficult course, and beginners can start with an easier one. Each hub also hides a secret exit which takes you to a special world, filled with the hardest levels in the game. And again, they're entirely optional. There's even the customary end game level which you can only unlock if you've aced every level in the game. That involves getting every Wonder Seed, picking up all of these 10 flower coins, and getting to the top of every flagpole. This stuff is all represented by medals on the title screen so players can proudly track their progression throughout the game. Also, the game is multiplayer, so you can get a friend to help out, and the new online standee system lets you place down checkpoints at any point in a level. And in each level, there are lots of opportunities to push your luck, including the 10 flower coins, which are this game's version of the star coin. And in this game, they don't confer any advantage on the expert players who get them. In fact, in Wonder, it's the less skilled players who are rewarded. If you die, you'll unlock a special bonus Coins Galore level, which gives you a chance to earn some more 1-ups and cash to spend in the shops. So Mario Wonder perfectly shows off this excellent bit of design. The main path through the game is of a reasonable level of challenge, but Nintendo offers plenty of ways to make things easier if the player needs it. And on the other hand, the game keeps offering ways to make things harder, enticing little challenges to keep expert players happy, and it's entirely up to the player which path they'll take. But I don't think this shows that Nintendo has finally solved that decades-long problem, and I expect they'll still be experimenting with ways for players to change Mario's difficulty. In an interview for Wonder, a Nintendo staffer explained that long-time Mario designer Takashi Tezuka wanted a system that could change the difficulty level of the entire course in real time at the push of a button. It proved too complicated for Wonder, but, says Tezuka, you never know, right? Maybe it'll be in the next game. Thank you so much for watching this 200th video on the GMTK YouTube channel. That is quite the way to begin this 10th calendar year of running this YouTube channel. And to celebrate this milestone, I have made some brand new GMTK merchandise. Let me just new GMTK t-shirts featuring this, if I dare say so, rather spiffy design. Let me find another one. So it's got the GMTK logo and little symbols representing various games and franchises and the videos that I've made. And then on the back of the t-shirts, you've got little icons representing the 5 main prongs of the GMTK empire.
Oh,
you've got a Mario question mark block to represent GMTK videos, a boss key, obviously, a magnet for Mind Over Magnet, the Flappy Bird from the Unity tutorial, and a dice from the GMTK Game Jam. If you fancy getting one of these, please head over to GameMakersToolkit.com/support, where you can find a link to the merch store, as well as other ways to support me on my mission to provide free, high-quality game design and development information. Places like Patreon and Substack, and a way to donate directly. If you found any value in the last 200 episodes on this channel, then please consider chipping in. Oh, and one more thing. No, I'm not retiring. Unlike a lot of YouTubers at the moment, I'm not going anywhere. I still have so much I want to do. Speak to you soon.
which one of my OCs would worth high highs. So that's the one I've already drawn. Hmm. Your whole entire knee all around is very sore, geez. Oh, thanks. It's been like, I don't really have a plan for if I ever do actually make a little adventuring game for the Traveler, besides, like, there would be different zones and sort of biomes and towns, and you have to go into a music festival and come across different houses. Yeah, is it like, if if there's any swelling, ice would definitely help. Otherwise, heat can help. Sometimes if you do, like ice for 30 minutes, heat for 30 minutes, that kind of thing, on and off. I'm gonna base this and do like a gas station. I'm gonna base it on the general shape of the other building I have. Rip, dude. Having to have stairs when your knee hurts is miserable. Your choice. Hmm. Yeah, that'll definitely mess your knee up. Ow. Sometimes it makes us like a Game Grumps reference, but I don't want to have like a ton of references and stuff. Because when they were playing Supermarket Simulator, they named their supermarket Buy and Leave, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Look at Buy and Leave. Mm, something Mart. Mm, mm, mm. When Eddie experiences dope. Is Eddie okay? Kinda awkward, but convenient works. Convenient markets. Look, Clippy's actually explaining what he means, whereas Ryoshu just kind of lets people figure it out themselves. Mostly just let Sinclair translate. Break all remaining fingers. colors at corner stores? Because it depends on the corner store. I don't know where I would put. Maybe it would be like a haunted convenience store. That could be fun. It's in a really neglected area. Shut down a long time ago, and now there's only ghosts there. So I'll get the base colors on, but I can try to figure out how to make it look kind of busted up. Well, as long as you get the result you want, then the coloring will be worth the time. That's good. Mm. Be cute. Oh. Oh wow, okay, it's been 3 hours and you didn't realize. Okay. Able to sketch some stuff of my OCs so I never draw. I'll work on that later. I was able to start working on this and some festival stalls for the Traveler. Now I'm gonna sign off so I can finish some little snacks and go bundle up and be warm because I'm cold. Yeah, it's the time of getting the good sleepy times. At least I hope I can. My neck pain's been kind of messing that up. I should perhaps send a message to my primary before I go to bed. No problem. One last fosters and stretches and hydrates and pet the cat. I see you. As happy progress and get the good sleepy times. Good night.